Have you ever been in a situation where your emotions got the best of you? Maybe you said something you instantly regretted in a heated argument, or anxiety made you freeze up during a big presentation. We've all been there. It feels like our emotions are in the driver's seat, and we're just along for the bumpy ride. But what if I told you that you can learn to take the wheel? What if you could control your emotions and, by doing so, win in almost any situation you face? It's not about becoming a robot with no feelings. It's about becoming the master of your feelings, using them as tools instead of letting them use you. Stay with me, because today we're diving deep into the art of emotional control, and I promise it's a skill that will change your life. Let me tell you a story about a guy named Alex. Alex was a talented project manager, brilliant at his job, but he had one major weakness: his temper. Whenever a project faced a setback or a team member made a mistake, Alex would explode. His face would turn red, his voice would get loud, and he'd end up blaming everyone around him. His team was constantly walking on eggshells, afraid to bring him bad news. The atmosphere was tense, and creativity was stifled. One day, a critical project was on the line. A major bug was discovered just 24 hours before the launch. The team gathered in the conference room, their faces pale with worry. As the lead programmer explained the issue, Alex felt that familiar surge of hot anger rising in his chest. His first instinct was to slam his fist on the table and yell. He wanted to demand how this could have happened, to find someone to blame. In that split second, everything was about to go wrong. He could almost see the outcome. His team would shut down, morale would plummet, and the launch would be a guaranteed failure. But this time, something different happened. The night before, Alex had been reading about a technique called the pause. It's incredibly simple. When you feel a strong emotion coming on, you consciously force yourself to pause before you react, just for a few seconds. So as the anger boiled up, Alex clenched his fists under the table, took a slow, deep breath, and held it. He didn't speak. He just breathed. In that moment of silence, a new thought broke through the red haze of his anger. Yelling won't fix the bug. It was a simple, logical thought, but it was enough to change his course. He let out the breath slowly. Instead of shouting, he looked at his lead programmer and said, in a calm, steady voice, "Okay, this is a serious problem. Thank you for bringing it to my attention immediately. What do we need to do to fix it? Let's brainstorm solutions, not problems." The change in the room was immediate. It was like a switch had been flipped. His team, expecting an explosion, looked surprised, then relieved. One by one, they started offering ideas. The energy shifted from fear to focused problem solving. They worked through the night, not because they were afraid of their boss, but because they felt like a united team tackling a challenge together. And you know what? They found the bug, fixed it, and the launch was a huge success. Alex didn't win by suppressing his anger. He won by controlling it. He acknowledged the feeling, but he chose a response that would lead to a better outcome. This is the core of emotional mastery. It's not about not feeling. It's about not letting your feelings dictate your actions in a destructive way. So how do we do this? How do we become like Alex in that crucial moment? It starts with recognizing your emotional triggers. A trigger is anything a person, a word, a situation that sets off an immediate, intense emotional reaction in you. For Alex, it was project setbacks. For you, it might be criticism from a loved one, feeling ignored in a meeting, or getting stuck in traffic when you're already late. Your first homework assignment is to become an emotional detective. For the next week, pay close attention. When you feel a strong emotion, anger, anxiety, frustration, jealousy, stop and ask yourself, what just happened? What was the trigger? Don't judge yourself for the feeling. Just observe it. Write it down in a journal or a note on your phone. Felt angry when my boss dismissed my idea. Felt anxious when I saw an email from that client. Felt jealous when I saw my friend's vacation photos. By simply identifying your triggers, you take away their power. They are no longer invisible forces that hijack your brain. They become predictable patterns that you can prepare for. Once you know your triggers, you can start practicing the pause, just like Alex did. This is your second tool. The space between a trigger and your reaction is where your power lies. In that tiny gap, you have a choice. Most of us react automatically, out of habit. The trigger happens, and boom, the emotional program runs. The pause is your way of interrupting that program. Here's how to practice it. When you feel that rush of emotion, physically stop what you're doing. Take one deep, conscious breath. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, and exhale for 6 seconds. This simple act of controlled breathing does something amazing to your brain. It activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your body's natural calm down button. It pulls you out of the fight or flight mode and brings your prefrontal cortex, the logical, thinking part of your brain, back online. In that moment of clarity, you can ask yourself a powerful question. What response will serve me in this situation best? Your initial impulse might be to yell, to cry, or to run away. But your best response, the one that aligns with your goals and values, is often something entirely different. Let's take another example. Imagine you're in a performance review, and your manager gives you some harsh feedback. Your trigger is criticism. Your immediate emotional reaction is to feel defensive and hurt. Your face gets hot, and you want to interrupt and list all the reasons why they're wrong. This is the automatic reaction. But now you have your tools. You notice the feeling. You identify the trigger, criticism. You implement the pause. You take a silent, deep breath. And in that pause, you ask yourself, what response will serve me best? Arguing and getting defensive will probably make your manager see you as difficult and unable to take feedback. It won't help your career. A better response might be to listen calmly, nod, and then say something like, "Thank you for that feedback. I want to make sure I understand. Can you give me a specific example so I can work on improving that?" See the difference? You've just turned a potentially career-damaging confrontation into a career-building opportunity. You've taken control. You've won the situation. This brings us to our third and most powerful tool, reframing. Our emotions don't come from events themselves. They come from the stories we tell ourselves about those events. The event is neutral. Our interpretation is what creates the emotion. For example, getting cut off in traffic is a neutral event. The driver in the other car probably didn't even see you. But the story you tell yourself, that jerk did that on purpose. He has no respect for anyone, is what makes you angry. If you told yourself a different story, wow, that person must be in a huge hurry. I hope they're okay. Your emotional response would be completely different. You might feel concern or even indifference, but not rage. Reframing is the conscious act of changing the story to create a more empowering emotion. When you face a challenge, instead of seeing it as a threat, reframe it as an opportunity. Your project has a major bug? Great. This is an opportunity for the team to show how resilient and brilliant we are. You received harsh feedback? Excellent. This is an opportunity to learn exactly what I need to do to get to the next level. You made a mistake? Perfect. This is a valuable lesson that will prevent me from making a much bigger mistake down the road. This isn't about lying to yourself or pretending everything is sunshine and rainbows. It's about finding the interpretation of events that serves you best. It's about choosing to see the world in a way that makes you stronger, not weaker. It's a mental muscle. The more you practice reframing, the more it becomes your default way of thinking. You'll start to automatically see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You'll see lessons where you once saw failures. And your emotional landscape will transform from a chaotic storm into a well-tended garden. So, let's recap our 3 powerful tools for emotional control. First, become an emotional detective and identify your triggers. Knowledge is power. Second, master the pause. The space between stimulus and response is your moment of choice. Use a deep breath to access it. Third, practice reframing. Change the story you tell yourself about an event to change your emotional reaction. These aren't magic tricks. They are skills that require consistent practice. You will not become an emotional master overnight. There will be times when you forget to pause, when your old automatic reactions kick in. That's okay. The key is to not get discouraged. Every time you catch yourself, every time you successfully use the pause or reframe a negative thought, you are strengthening those neural pathways in your brain. You are rewiring yourself for success. Think of it like going to the gym. You don't expect to have a six-pack after one workout. You go consistently, you push yourself, and over time, you see the results. Emotional control is mental fitness. By practicing these techniques daily, in small situations, when you're annoyed in line at the grocery store, when a friend cancels plans, you are training for the big moments. So when that high-stakes meeting comes, or that difficult conversation with a loved one, you'll be ready. Your tools will be sharp, and your response will be second nature. Controlling your emotions allows you to think clearly under pressure, to build stronger relationships, to be more resilient in the face of adversity, and to make choices that align with your long-term goals. It is the ultimate superpower. It is how you stop being a passenger in your own life and start being the pilot, navigating confidently toward the destinations you truly desire. It is how you win, not by defeating others, but by mastering yourself. Start today. Identify one trigger. Practice the pause just once. Reframe one negative thought. Small steps, taken consistently, lead to massive transformations. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content on mastering your mind and your life. Let me know in the comments which one of these tools you're going to try first. I'd love to hear from you. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.